Hello guys, how are you? I hope you are fine. This is the second part of the story. At night while sleeping she was thinking that she had tried avoiding the flow of the original story. She thought she would wonder if she was the right choice. She said she had to twist the original story somehow. To survive. She was trying to sleep but because of the worries in head she cannot. She thinks that I am Rosaline Vertiro, the author of the book, and will die because I lost my job. She shouted unconsciously. All her family step in hurry. Her mother said, Rosaline, what's with all the commotion at this time of day? Her father said, what's wrong, sweetie? Daddy's here. Your brother can go. There's no need for you to come. Holding sister hand, brother, said Rosaline. She got furious and said, even my brother. Her mother said, a delicate flower-like girl of 18 years old about to make her debut into society. Going to the palace. Rosaline, what's wrong? Was it because you didn't have enough dresses? Her father replied, is that right? Do you have any dresses or jewelry you want? Don't worry, daddy would invest in a gold mine. Rosaline replied, yes, the gold mine scam dead the problem too. In the original novel, the gold mine that very true invested in with all of his wealth was an ordinary cave. Oh my heavens, you lied to me. His brother is calming down, father, because the gold mine scam drained over finances. Roy could not retire even after his employment period was over. Roy could not keep track of the kahir's schedule. As a result, Kahir failed to attend his arrangement with Ella. This mistake of Roy caused us all to die. Rosalind, think I cannot let that happen. I want to change my mind. I have decided to enter the palace. She said, for 5 years I will work as the Highness Secretary. For only 5 years. Her father said, is it only 5 years long? Why does it happen to be 5 years? She replied, I cannot tell them that in 5 years our planned death in the original novel will pass by, and people usually get married in their early 20s years, since I have to get married at 23 years old. If I worked as the Empire the Secretary, I might be able to receive a suitable proposal. I can do it well, so you do not have worry. I will go instead of my older brother. All her family was in worry. Next day in the palace, the head secretary replied, Your Majesty, a new factory will arrive here soon. You may not be interested, but they are from the Verite Viscounty, with absolutely no connection to the Dowager Empress and are far from the political world. Head replied, I am sure you will do it. He said, would you like to wear your crown? She replied, yeah. Ah, the new secretary must have arrived just now. She's not a secretary, the tyrant replies. Call her a trainee. Head said, she is a secretary. You must try not to drive her out, Your Majesty. It would be surprise English if she died from our work at the rate. Kahir said, let her in. Rosaline entered and said, it's an honor to meet the Emperor of the Ethelis Empire. I am Rosaline, Your Majesty's humble subject. The Kahir said in furious, were you playing with me? Words with her, the head security replied, as just as you see, Your Majesty. Oh, so she is the new secretary. Rosaline replied, did I do something wrong? Kahir moved towards her. She was impressed by his beauty. Said, realize in mind I laughed when they described him as sexy and you perilled. But his beauty is not something that can be fully expressed in writing. He is really so beautiful. Kahir said that I hate women. She replied, yes. The head secretary said, this is first time I heard this, Your Majesty. What is this? Kahir said, yes. Especially the woman who stare at me with such haughty eyes. She hold her breath for second. And thinks, what's that investigation? If that's the case, it will reveal that we invested in a fraudulent gold mine. She said, Your Majesty, PLZ, calm down a little and tell me the reason why you hate me so that I can fix it. He said, the reason why I hate you? She replied, yes. Do you really hate me because I am a woman? There's another reason, tell me that too. So I can fix it. She thnik in mind, does he really hate me because I am a woman? Did not His Majesty absolutely love women? Kahir said, it's just because you are pretty than me. She said, www what? This was never in the original novel. He replied, so how ill you going to fix it? She think that she cannot back down. She said, Your Majesty, thank you for thinking kindly of my humble self. However, I cannot even compare to His Majesty, the son of the continent, Ethelis Empire's shining star god. Your Majesty is noble and allegiant, the only sacred. The head secretary replied, you are doing great, just a little more. She said, the only Ronda ruler and protector of the empire, the hero of Thousand-Day War. She thinking mind that I can do it, I can do. Kahir replied, it's too much for my humble lips to speak about Majesty remarkable achievements. She said, how can I dare compare myself to His Majesty? The things that do you really want to be secretary that badly? He replied, yes, Her Majesty, I want to be the shadow that serves the empire's son. He said, I shadow. She replied, yes. Also I am great, I am proficient in foreign languages and I have good physical strength. More than anything else I am confident that I can perfectly match your majesty preferences. Kahir said. Perfectly, she replied. Yes, your majesty. Whatever it is, she replies, we are anything. She said, please pick me, I want to live a long life. The kahir called Derek. He said, yes my majesty, I am your command. The kahir said, make Rosaline room next to mine. Next to mine, okay. Derek with shockness said, are you saying? Kahir said, I will give you 1 week Rosaline. Show me how useful you can be as a person. She replied, yes your majesty, I will do my best to repay your imperial grace. He said, okay go. Derek said, congratulations miss, it's done, we did it. He said to the kahir, your majesty, there the something I am curious about. Kahir said, what is it? He said, do you really hate women? Kahir, especially pretty girls. He said, I don't know since when. Why would you hate her if she is pretty? I hate troublesome things. She is somehow perfectly suits my taste, that's suspicious enough. Ha, perfectly, it's strange. Thoroughly investigate Viscount Verite, make sure there be nothing related to the Empress Dowager. A working lady said to the Rosaline, hello Lady Rosaline Verite. Welcome to the palace. I am Wei the maid who will be assisting you. Please serve His Majesty for the long time. She said, it's nice to meet you. Please take care of me. I will guide you through the imperial palace. Shall we get going? Maid said. Rosaline replied, wait, I am tired. How far we are going? It's as if there's no end. I want to change my shoe into comfortable ones. Wait a minute. Maid said, what? Rosaline said, can we wait a minute, I am not used to these heels. Maid said, it might be painful. However, we cannot stay here 3. Of all places, why it happens here? What's wrong here? The Rosaline said. She said, can you walk a bit more? We will reach the 3rd palace, Scan 5. It's just over there. She said, the 3rd palace. Then this is the Empire's Dowager's palace. Hidden behind the central palace. It's Aslo, called as Discarded Star. Agela was Kahir enemy, the villaininess who tormented him until her death. If Kahir nickname was Tyrant, she had those poor especially close to Kahir forcefully executed. She said it would be bad to encounter the Empress the Dowgers at this palace. I understand, please lead the way. Med said, please bear with it a little longer my lady. She replied, yes all right. While seeing Rosaline, a girl from group moving said, who is this? One from them said, ISS not at Kahir's. She said, how did you enter my palace without any invitation? What an audacious girl. Rosaline replied, I apologize, Express Dowager. Is not the corridor just any normal old hallway? The Empress is just being harsh because who is from Emperor's side? She got furious. It's my first time seeing this child, but her face is definitely Kahir's type. Who are you? I am Rosaline Verite. Verite. Was here a family named Verite? What does your family do? Rosaline replied, we are just a lowly viscounty when compared to a duchy or earldom. But we are dignified and educated, and for generations we have pledged our allegiance to the imperial family. The Empress said, you don't know anything and yet you look down on us. The maid said, the Verite family produced many great secretaries during the Silver Curtain period. Ms. Rosaline was brought to the palace as the Emperor's new secretary. The Empress said, the Silver Curtain period? Wasn't that over 200 years ago? The girls with her laughed and said, so what you are trying to say is, this is a shabby family with nothing to offer. Rosaline stared at them. Emperor said, getting a secretary from such a family must mean that Kahir's grown naive. Rosaline just look at her, slashing me in the face. Well, her only brother was killed in battle. Rumor has it that he poisoned his predecessor. Those words are probably nothing to the devil who devours people. But you live up the reputation of not letting go of your greed for crowning your own child right. Rosaline said, then I cannot let you down. Compared to the prestigious Veloch family that produced the Empress, I will bow and watch my step on behalf of my family. Empress replied, so do you understand? Rosaline said, the legacy won't be able to continue though. Empress told, I feel sorry for the tragedy that befell your brother. Your name is Rosaline Verite. What did you say your title was? Rosaline said, I am the Emperor's secretary. Empress said, annoying. Is she saying she already trusts Kahir? My son, whom I raised with overflowing love, would never allow his people to be so rude to me. Rosaline said, what should I do? If he finds out his mother was treated like this, he's probably going to get upset. Empress said, how could I not punish you? You deserve to die for your rudeness. The Derek come to the Kahir and said, your majesty, there's huge problem. Derek, it better be a huge problem. Can't you see that I am resting? Sir. Rosaline. It's about the new secretary. Your Majesty said that you didn't like her because she was pretty. Kahir said secretary trainee. Derek said regardless she has been caught by the Empress Dowager. Kahir said so what? Derek said what do you mean so what? If it's one of your subjects she will lose her temper find fault. Anyway she can and punish them for it. Kahir said so what do you want me to do about it? Derek said help her. I worked so hard to recruit her. Your Majesty. Rosaline said to the Empress it is an honor to meet the Emperor of the Ethius Empire. I am Rosaline Verite. Kahir said if she got caught by the Dowager. He thinks there occurs a fight between them and a bang happen. And I don't want to see that. He said Derek lead to the way. On the other hand the Rosaline said to Empress much obliged Your Majesty. Thoughtfully your relationship isn't like that right? She replied what? First I have never treated the Empress Dowager badly. And I don't know her much. But you should stop saying that you raised His Majesty with love. And while I am at it, there's something else. A girl standing said since you did not raise him with love. His Majesty has no reason to care about the way I speak. To Your Majesty. Thus the Empress Dowager has no reason to punish me. Oh of the things. She got furious and would going to slap the Rosaline. The Kahir reached there and stop her. Rosaline said Your Majesty. He said Empress Dowager my secretary has said nothing wrong. Empress said let go of my hand. You are taking sides. But you didn't even know what this insolent girl said. Kahir said Empress Dowager there is one thing that I am certain of. It's that she's a descendant of the family that has produced many great sectaries. Empress got furious and said Your Majesty. Kahir said let hear it's one more time Secretary Verite. What's your relationship actually like? Rosaline said since your relationship with the Empress Dowager doesn't involve love nor other necessities. Even if she feel offended by my words Your Majesty will not be lipset by it. Is what I said. Kahir said is that so? Rosaline think in mind what should I do now? I tell truth for no reason. What if I give a bad impression and get fired? I can't have to stay alive and live good life. Kahir said Empress Dowager is not like that my secretary said anything wrong. So let her pass. Rosaline said instead I will take the punishment of whatever made you feel offended. Dowager said why would Your Majesty? Wait that NY lunatic is smiling why? Because of that girl. Fine maybe if we leave her alive she might be useful in the future Dowager thinks. Since His Majesty said it himself I will forgive you but just this once. Know that there won't be any second chances.